Hi, this is Satiris Basakaropoulos, and this is uh, day one of my life tips and ideas video series. And in today's video, I just want to talk a wee bit about about banking. Okay. Obviously, nothing that I'm saying here is investment advice or banking advice. This is just my own personal opinion on things, and I just thought, I would mention it here in a video. So today I want to talk about banking. So for me, I think it's very important, if you have a business or in your life, I think it's very important to have more than one bank account, right? Now, a lot of people would argue with me, and a lot of people do argue with me about, different things, like about having multiple cars and stuff, and you should only have one car and all this kind of stuff. But honestly, I think when you have one of anything, you end up, more of the time having problems, more difficulties. If something goes wrong with the one thing that you have, then you can be stuck, right? So like if you have one bank account, right, and the bank turn around and say, right, you're under investigation, or your one of your kids sent you £300 and we're investigating it, so we're not allowing you to use your account until you explain where the money came from and what it was for and all that stuff. You can end up with your direct debits bouncing. You can end up not being able to pay your stuff and getting into all sorts of difficulties and all sorts of problems. So for me personally, I think you should have multiple bank accounts. And obviously, like, the argument most people would have with that is like, oh, it's too hard to manage multiple accounts and stuff like that. And, although it could be a little bit more difficult, I mean, you can just if you sit down and you write out a plan, because if you go and you set up direct debits with like 20 bank accounts and they're coming out in different dates and stuff, and you have to have money in all the bank account stuff, you can make your life quite complicated, right? But generally what I do is, I would have like one bank account where I maybe have my direct debits, and I generally tend to use Revolut for that, because Revolut will tell me the night before what debits are coming out tomorrow, and they'll give me like a warning if there isn't enough money in to put the money in for it. So like my bank accounts would be used for different purposes. So I might have one bank account that I use for to buy stuff, and I don't send money there unless I'm buying something and I get cash back. And I have my other account which I basically use for direct debits. So I've written down what dates all my direct debits come out, and a few days before the direct debits come out, I just send the money to the account. And if I forget to send the money to the account, I get a wee notification on my phone saying, you've got £200 coming out of your account tomorrow, you need to add money, which I find is very handy. Now, if you're using a bank that doesn't do that, you can end up with bounced direct debits. And bounced direct debits, if it's with credit cards and stuff, if you've any credit cards or things like that, and you're 0% interest, automatically, if your credit card payment doesn't get paid in time, they will put you from the 0% interest up to 30% standard interest rate. So you'll lose your 0% period. So for stuff like that, it's really important, and it can cost you an awful lot of money if you don't do it properly. So it's important to manage that properly. I had recently my one of my accounts was closed. I'm not going to mention the building society here. There's not that many of them, but one of my accounts was closed because I was lodging cash in the account, and they thought that lodging like a small amount of cash in the account was suspicious. And I had to explain and write down and show every single penny where it came from to get my account open again. Now, if that was you, and you are a person who decides you only want one bank account, and your bank account gets shut down, that's your direct debits for your mortgage, maybe your credit cards, your loans, your internet, your phone bill, all your stuff you can't pay now, right? Because you can't access the bank account. So for me, I would suggest having more than one bank account. You know, personally, I can't even tell you how many bank accounts I have. Because even inside the likes of a bank, you know, some banks allow you multiple accounts as well. So you can have multiple savings accounts, multiple, you know, so you could have savings account for your holiday, you have savings account for the car you're buying, you could have a savings account for your kids, you could have a savings account for, you know, your next big holiday. You know, so you can have multiple different accounts inside the accounts as well. But I mean, personally, I know off the top of my head easily, I know I have at least now I'm not talking about sub bank accounts, you know, inside the bank accounts. I'm talking about just the main company I'm with, right? So like I could have, you know, Revolut, but I could have a Revolut account, I could have Revolut business account, I could have Revolut Pro account, and I could have umpteen different savings account inside Revolut. But I'm just talking about Revolut as one, right? So say Revolut, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know, I have at least 7 different bank accounts. And it means if something happens and I can't use that bank account anymore, I can, you know, pay the money from somewhere else. I can send the money somewhere else and I'm not stuck. So that's it. That's my little life tip and advice for today, is to make sure that you have more than one bank account. So I will be sharing more life tips and ideas with you in this video series. It's probably not going to be a daily video series like some of the ones I do, because I'm just going to do these videos when I'm inspired, and I will put it on a page on my blog. So thank you very much. Hope you find this useful, and I will talk to you again soon in the next video.